Hey guys, Dan here with today's quarantine video, and we're going to talk about the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt interactive special. It just went up on Netflix a couple of days ago. I caught it today, and it is very unique. It's very interesting in its choose-your-own-adventure style concept. Netflix has done this a couple of other times. Puss in Boots, the cartoon show, had an episode like this, and one of the Black Mirror episodes, I believe it was in this fashion as well. But this is the first time they've done it with one of their comedy shows, and I think Kimmy Schmidt, more than probably most of their shows, really lends itself to the format because there's a lot of different takes of a scene in that show and a lot of different jokes, a lot of different lines that get thrown off, improv, whatever, that just never get used. We never get to see them as the audience. So this way, sort of wrapped in a, I don't know if it's a movie or a show. I mean, it's listed as a special. It's not quite long enough for a movie. I mean, if you go all the way through with one option without going back, because there's several times like you can pick something like in a choose your own adventure book where you pick something and the character dies or whatever, so you rewind a lot. Well, the show rewinds for you, I should say, in this version. So but if you went through, I think with the minimal amount of do-overs, it's only about an hour and maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But I went through it twice with all different options. Sometimes they basically send you back to a point in time where you have to pick one thing. And if you pick that originally, then it just continues forward. If you pick something else originally, it will send you back to that place. You can see the outcome of whatever you chose, but they'll send you back to that place anyway. But not every time. Like, there are some subplots that you can completely change. And it doesn't affect the main story, but for example, at one point, we are pretending that Titus is in his trailer and refuses to come out. And why does he refuse to come out? Well, we can pick either wardrobe error or disappointment with the script. And each one sends you on two completely separate paths. And they both end up in the same place, but there's like 3 scenes in between that are completely different each time. So, if you're not familiar with Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, I mean, it was a 4-season show on Netflix. It really was, I think, 5 seasons because the 4th season was broken up into 6 episodes each, and it was almost a year apart. So to me, that's a separate season, but whatever. It's the old Sopranos model, call it 1 season even though it's an entire year and a half apart. But anyway, there were 13 episodes pretty much most seasons, and then the 4th season was broken up into 2 6-episode seasons, and then now the special, which comes about a little over a year after the series wrapped. And I just finished the series myself about a month ago maybe, so everything's pretty fresh for me, but the 4 main cast members are here. Ellie Kemper plays Kimmy Schmidt. Titus Burgess plays Titus Andromedon. Carol Kane is Lillian. And Jane Krakowski is Jacqueline White. Or also Jacqueline Voorhees early in the series. So, in this particular special, we have the plot of Kimmy. It's a few years in the future from the series finale, and Kimmy is about to get married to a prince played by Daniel Radcliffe, which is very funny. He gets a few real good lines here and fits kind of right in with this cast. And she discovers a choose-your-own-adventure type book in her backpack that she realizes doesn't belong to her or any of the girls that were trapped in the bunker with her in the 90s. So then it's revealed, oh, maybe there was another girl that was there that they didn't see, and it turns out that when she goes to talk to the dude in jail who imprisoned them in the first place, played by John Hamm, the Reverend, he reveals that, yes, there was a second bunker the whole time in West Virginia. So that leads her on a trip to West Virginia, and I won't tell you who she needs to take the trip with because you do have a choice on who she takes the trip with, but you can decide that for yourself. You'll eventually have to pick the right one anyway, but And then sort of the B plot is that Titus has gotten a movie role. Jacqueline is his manager now, so she gets him this role, and she's, you know, sort of making him exercise and making him eat better and trying to get him on the Mark Wahlberg diet and schedule. But she has to sort of stall for time as we're pretending that he is trapped in his, or locked himself in his trailer because he's not there. So that's the threadbare plot of this. I mean, it's more of a fun extended episode, I think, than anything. I mean, Kimmy Schmidt has never been about heavy plot lines. It's always been a very gag-heavy show. And, you know, the gags fly fast and furiously, as they always have. The quality of the show, I think, diminished around season 3. There's some real good spurts, though, throughout still, especially like there's an ongoing Cats thing in season 4 with Titus that's hilarious, and Greg Kinnear appears in a few episodes as himself for that. And, you know, like every episode is not bad, but just on the whole, seasons 1 and 2 are just like amazing. They're probably in the A range, maybe even A+ range for the first season. It's just so inventive. And then, you know, I would say it dwindles down into like the B+ range. So still good, but not great like it was originally. So this sort of, I wouldn't say restores it to its greatness, but it is a very fun and interesting experience. And like I said, I went through it twice, and what they do is, as you go through, first of all, if you pause, you can go back to the most recent choice. Like, if whatever's happening doesn't tickle your fancy, you can say, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of over this choice. I'm going to go back anyway and pick something else. So you have the option to do that. But like I said, a lot of times things will end in either people dying or just a sort of dead-end plot line, and so they will make you go back to the previous one. Now, sometimes they just automatically rewind it for you. It's like cut to black, then rewind. But sometimes you get little Easter eggs, like Fred Armisen shows up, the guy that played Mikey in the original series. He shows up a couple times in sort of, you know, I don't know if you want to call them Easter egg scenes or whatever. And there's a few people that are on the cast list that I didn't even see either time I watched it. Apparently Josh Groban is in it. Apparently Tina Fey is in it somewhere. I didn't see those options, so I read up on how to view them after I saw everything, and I saw Josh Groban's name in the credits. I'm like, wait a second, I thought I did a lot of these options, but apparently there's a few I missed out on that will expose those people. So the only thing I will tell you, and it's not plot-wise, but sort of spoiler-wise, is if you're one of the people who does the skip opening credits feature on Netflix, which I never do. I love hearing theme songs. I would never skip the intro, but if you're like me and you never skip the intro on this one, because something very, very fun happens. So that's one clue I'll give you. But what's nice is the Netflix like algorithm or whatever technology they use to do this remembers your choices. So what happened was, about maybe a third of the way through, I just decided to let the Netflix show, or, you know, let the show guide me, and basically whatever the default choice was, I just left it on, and I was like, okay, whatever. At the end, I'll go back and choose some different things anyway, but I want to see where the default choices take me. And some of them do take you to dead ends, and you have to go back, maybe because they're more fun, I don't know. But then, you know, other times they will just advance the story as it would. So the other thing I learned is, if it does let you go back, like if there's a dead end or something, or a dead person, if the same option appears a second time, sometimes there's another way of that option going, so you can hit it again. A lot of times something you choose, once it's resolved and it goes back to that choice, that option that you already picked isn't there. So if it is, maybe pick it a second time because something different might happen. But so then the second time I went through and kind of just really tried to figure out all of the ways of doing things, and obviously I still missed a few because of the Josh Groban thing, but some scenes, I started over 4 or 5 times to see where it went. And I think the technology is so cool because there's not like a skip in the progress of the show. It's not like you get a blip or anything. It goes immediately right to your choice, with no, it's like you didn't choose anything, and it's like the show just continued on, and in your mind you picked it, because there's no indication quality-wise that the show has ceased for a second and gone on this other path. So that was very interesting. But again, plot-wise, it's fine. It's whatever. Kimmy Schmidt has never been about the plot. It's always been about the fun, about the gags, about these characters. And I laughed very hard in this movie, special, whatever you want to call it. And even going back and seeing some of the scenes the exact same way, because it's not like you get a choice every 30 seconds. I mean, they're staggered a little bit every couple of minutes maybe, but and then sometimes there's choices within choices, which is I think where Josh Groban and Tina Fey might appear. But it was even funny the second time around, even though I had just watched it an hour and a half earlier. I still laughed at a lot of the same jokes, because the jokes happen so fast in Kimmy Schmidt that you forget about them an hour and a half later, because there have been so many by that point. So this was a lot of fun, and I don't regret watching it twice in a row either, with all the different experiences you have with it. I hate doing spoilers, so I don't want to say any of the options, but if you like that sort of thing, there's definitely articles you can read on the internet, like Entertainment Weekly put one up. I forget if it was Variety or Deadline, or one of those put a review up, and in there it had a lot of the different, like the top 10, hidden Easter eggs or whatever in this. It's definitely a lot of fun, and I miss these characters. Jane Krakowski said in an interview promoting this that she would love to come back every year or two with these characters and do either something like this or just have a special in general, because I think these characters, they sort of have lives of their own. And Jane Krakowski, look, I've loved her since the Ally McBeal days. I mean, that's the first time I saw her, and that was in the late 90s. Would that start 97 maybe? And then, of course, through 30 Rock and through the original run of Kimmy Schmidt. So, I've come to really love her as an actress, and she has a lot of fun with whatever role she's playing. She really throws herself into it. So everybody here is on board. Carol Kane was interesting too, just from when the show started, because I hadn't seen her in a long time, and Scrooged is one of my favorite holiday movies, so of course I have a soft spot for Carol Kane through that. But she's done so many different TV shows and movies over the years. She always kind of pops up, but I hadn't seen her in a long time until Kimmy Schmidt came on, and she is, she's not lost a comedic step. She's still hilarious. So, look, this is not going to be the most interesting movie or special that you see this year, but it may be one of the most fun, especially if you are a fan of the series. Now, if you're not, I honestly think you could still probably watch it and enjoy it, even without knowing all of the intricacies. I mean, there are a ton of guest spot, sort of half callbacks. They're not all callbacks, though. Some of them are just guest spots, like Chris Parnell shows up doing like a fake fire festival type thing, and I don't remember him from the original series, so I think he's just a new character that they threw in to have some fun with. So I don't know, even if you've never seen Kimmy Schmidt, I think you'll kind of get on board, and it Daniel Radcliffe's character, for example, was never in the original show, and here he is. So yeah, it's a lot of fun either way, but I think a Kimmy Schmidt fan will certainly get more out of it than a non-fan, as I guess with any of this stuff. But the choose your own adventure style, the interactive thing, was really cool. Like I said, it's been done on Netflix a couple of times before with different shows, but I've never done one, and it's never been done with a sitcom on Netflix, and this really just is the perfect venue for this, because I'm sure there's a lot of jokes that they always want to get out that they have to cut. So having these different options and having the characters do different things is a lot of fun, I think. So I'm gonna give Kimmy Schmidt. It has an official name. Is it Kimmy versus the Reverend or something? Yeah, let's see. The special is called. I don't know. I think it's just called Kimmy Schmidt versus the Reverend. Yeah, I don't know. It's listed as episode 52, so I don't know. I don't think it's a movie. I guess it's a special, a show. But either way, it's a lot of fun. I give it an A minus. I think if you've never seen Kimmy Schmidt before, you'll probably be more in the like B minus range because you'll be like, what's wrong with these characters? Like, why are they so weird? But even still, it's a lot of fun just to kind of see the different scenarios play out. And they've done it, I think, very, very cleverly. So, an A minus for me for the Kimmy Schmidt special, Kimmy versus the Reverend. So that's going to do it. Tomorrow we have a Frasier episode. Saturday I will do my TV reviews. And then Sunday I think I'll have movie reviews up. I want to watch this new Scooby-Doo movie that premieres tomorrow on all your streaming channels on Amazon Prime and iTunes and all that stuff. So I'm going to pay to get some Scoob and give you the review of that along with some other movies. Not even sure what else is coming out now that theaters have been shut down, but we'll see. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you back here next time. Be safe. Bye.